Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, everybody. I wasn't the captain of the track team, just for the record. But it would have been nice. You know, one of the things they told me before I came up here tonight is keep your speech short. Now we have a lot, and in fact, they wanted me to go first because George Redmond said, you go first, set up an example for everybody else. Well, we saw our example, okay? But anyway. Listen, you know, this is really overwhelming, and I'm coming here tonight. We live in Pennsylvania, my family in Bucks County, and coming up here was like coming home. You know, it's just being here and seeing the friends, and I can't believe the number of guys that showed up that I played ball with, and teammates and coaches I worked with. It really is interesting. I like the earlier pictures, by the way, better than that. In any case, you know, my wife told me to just relax. You know, I talk all the time for business, and but it's a lot easier to talk about business than it is about people you care about and things you love. I think I'm a little different than everybody else in that I might have a different appreciation for this than others. You know, I didn't grow up in Bristol. I didn't go to grade school in Bristol. I didn't play Pop Warner and Little League here. In 1969, my dad, who was an executive for New Departure Hyatt, was transferred from New Jersey. So the first 14 years of my life, I lived in Union County, New Jersey. And my father was transferred, and we moved up here. And I remember I was going to be a sophomore in high school, my sister a senior, and my younger brother was just in grade school. But as you can imagine, for any kid, you know, moving from what's familiar and you know, your family and friends, extended family, it's difficult. And coming to Bristol, without a doubt, was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I think it's the best thing that ever happened to my family. You know, we think of this as home because, you know, home is where the heart is. And, you know, this is where I went to high school and where I went to college. You know, it's, you know, I coached. Actually, I did my student teaching at St. Paul with Tony Lodovico. I coached there with, you know, Bill Hyland, the former inductee, and George Plow. We went to the state championships. I had the benefit of coaching at Farmington with another Bristol man, Paul Mastry. And I had an absolute blast coaching at Bristol Central with guys that are my friends now, Tom Bruni, Al Mancini, Johnny Shapoulis. You know, those were just wonderful years. Met my wife here, a Bristol girl, got married here, children here, house here. You get the picture. You know, that's home. Those formative years, that's what you think of home. So although I live in Pennsylvania now and I lived in New Jersey before, you know, I was the Jersey kid. Now I'm somebody who lives in Pennsylvania, but the fact is, in my heart, who I am is a Bristol guy. And this award tonight, for me, kind of validates that, you know, to be here, to come home and get such an honor as this is just extremely flattering to me. As respects my athletic activities and experiences, achievements, and so forth, I have a number of people to thank. And I remember, it's a bit of a story, but I remember the first time that summer of '69 when I went to the school for the summer meeting prior to summer practices, and I was a total stranger. I was about 140 pounds. I stood out like a sore thumb because in New Jersey we wore really goofy clothes compared to here. And I remember walking into that cafeteria and seeing guys, at least, and those guys back there, snickering, and can I tell you, who's that guy over there? And Coach Mills was speaking and explaining what to expect for the season and so forth. And I know he spotted me in the back and he said, "Here's a stranger, you know, a new face. Would you stand up and introduce yourself?" And I was already nervous and uncomfortable in the situation, and my heart's like going a million miles an hour. And I stood up, and I swear, in my mind, I said, "My name is Brian," you know, in a slow motion from New Jersey. And I know the guys were laughing at me then. But what's important about that day, what's striking about it was after that meeting was over, the formal part, two men came up to me and they welcomed me and they spoke to me, asked me about where I played, what I did, and said they looked forward to me being on the field when summer practice started. And that was David Mills and Michael Morin. And from that day forward, they never stopped encouraging me and teaching me and inspiring me to do my very best and excel. And I owe both of those men, as well as guys like Tom Bruni and the rest of that staff, an awful lot. Because, you know, there's vicious, the virtuous coaches, and we've seen them. And we've seen the kind of impact a coach can have on a kid. And I think everybody that's up here tonight knows that they probably wouldn't be here if they didn't have the right people supporting them and coaching them. So I owe both of them very much. And by the way, for the record, Mike Morin was the best. I had a lot of offensive coaches. The best offensive line coach I've ever had, technique-wise. And the man had a way to get your head into the game and get you excited. He was a crazy coach, and I loved crazy coaches. So anyway, a lot of gratitude to both of those gentlemen and the rest of that staff. My experience there was the entire staff of Dave Mills was the virtuous coaches. After high school, I was fortunate to again get involved with an exceptional Bristol man and football coach, and that's George Redmond. He convinced me to go to Central Connecticut, which was the best thing that ever happened to me. You know, we were part of a really good football program, a winning football program. I got lots of accolades there. And all along, George Redmond was by my side, a major supporter, a huge advocate of mine, a caring man, and he was with me all the way, and I owe him so much. I expect I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for that guy, and I love him for who he is and how he's always treated me. So tonight, really what I wanted to do publicly was take the opportunity to thank the coaches that I already mentioned, and there were others as well. And I wanted to take the opportunity to thank my friends for being my friends. I mean, this is home. It's just so meaningful to me, and a special opportunity to thank my mom and dad for all the support they've always provided to me. My dad's up from Florida, and it means it's very special that he's here, and he's here visiting his friends in Bristol and his family and children and grandchildren, and that's very special tonight. Also want to thank my brother and sister, Roy and Nancy, for the same thing, all the love and support and encouragement they've always given me and continue to give our family. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Kathy, a Bristol girl, for all the love and support she's provided over our 25 years of marriage, and my children who are here with me tonight as well, Matthew, Aaron, and Krista, for being good kids and making me proud. Most of all, I want to thank the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame for this wonderful honor. It's something I will treasure always. Thank you.